श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्यामकुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। समवेद भक्त वृंद की जय। प्रेम से आनंद जय। All glories to all glories to the assembled devotees.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Hari Hari.
Hare Bol.
Namo
Om Vishnu Padre Krishna Prasthaya Vidalachana Dev Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deva Gauravani Pracharani Raj Krishna Chaitanya Gauri Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaurava Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare
Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining this morning for Srimad Bhagavatam. Let's pray first. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Krishna Narayanam Namaskute Naram Chaitanya Rupam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayanti Nashta Prayasya Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Rupam Srita Bhakti Rupam. Hare Krishna. So we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavatam Canto 3, the status code chapter 6, the creation of universal form, and we are on chapter text. I'll read the verse. परेण विसता स्वस्मिन् मात्रया विश्वश्रीगणः चुक्षुभान्योन्यमासाद्य यस्मिन् लोकाश्चराचरः परेण विसता स्वस्मिन् मात्रया विश्वश्रीगणः चुक्षुभान्योन्यमासाद्य यस्मिन् लोकाश्चराचरः परेण विश्वता स्वस्मिन् मात्रया विश्वश्रीगणः चुक्षुभान्योन्यमासाद्य यस्मिन् लोकाश्चराचरः. Hare Krishna. Anyone would like to read the verse?
One is a little slow.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Parena bhashata swasmin matraya vishwasriganaha chakshobhananayan ashada asmin lokascharacharaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
But it's gone. What happened? We don't have the screen. Right? I don't know. Parena Vishwata Swasmin Matraya Vishwasrigana Chakshobhanyonyam Asadya Yasmin Lokas Charachara. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Parena Vishta Swasmin Matraya Vishwasriganaha Yukshobhanyonayam Asatya Yasmin Loka Sachara. Hare
Krishna.
Parena Vishata Swasmin Matraya Vishwasrigana Chukshobhanyonyam Asadya Yasmin lokaschara chara.
Anyone else?
Hare Krishna. Parena Vishata Swasmin Mataya Vishvashviganaha Chuksho Vayanyanyam Asadya Yasmin Lokaschara Charaha. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Anyone else? Going once, going twice. Okay, let's go for word for word. The names Parena, by the Lord. Vishata, thus entering. Swasmin, by his own self. Matraya, by a plenary portion. Visvasrik, the elements of universal creation. Ganaha, all. Chukshubha, transformed. Anyonyam, one another. Asadya, having obtained. Yasmin, in which. Lokaha, the planets. Chara acharaha, movable and immovable. Translation. Translation of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada. Translation. As the Lord, in his plenary person, entered into the elements of the universal creation, they transformed into the gigantic form in which all the planetary systems and all movable and immovable creations rest. The elements of cosmic creation are all matter and have no potency to increase in volume unless entered into by the Lord in his plenary portion. This means that matter does not increase or decrease unless it is spiritually touched. Matter is a product of spirit and increases only by the touch of spirit. The entire cosmic manifestation has not assumed its gigantic form by itself, as wrongly calculated by less intelligent persons. As long as the spirit is within matter, matter can increase as needed. But without the spirit, matter stops increasing. For example, as long as there is a spiritual consciousness in the material body of a living entity, the body increases to the required size. But a dead material body, which has no spiritual consciousness, stops increasing. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, importance is given to the spiritual consciousness, not the body. The entire cosmic body increased by the same process that we experience in our small bodies. One should not, however, foolishly think that the individual infinitesimal soul is the cause of the gigantic manifestation of the universal form. The universal form is called the Virat Rupa because the Supreme Lord is within it in his plenary portion. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshurunmalitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaya Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadhuetam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Shakhanvitamsa He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinamando Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते प्रणमामि हरि वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यश्च जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम Hare Krishna. Before going to our verse today, I would like to take the permission and blessings from all the assembled devotees here. So that, thank you, that I can do justice to the verse. I'll read the translation again. As the Lord in his plenary portion entered into the elements of the universal creation, they transformed into the gigantic form in which all the planetary systems and all movable and immovable creations rest. Okay, so we are again reading about the creation, right? Creation of the universal form. So we are again back to creation. If we remember, like we have been talking about creation in different chapters so far, and we're going to read more again. So just to rewind myself, I should say. So as of where we are now. So if we remember in chapter 10 of the second canto, Suta Goswami was quoting Sukadev Goswami about the creation. He was talking about the creation in the chapter called Bhagavatam is the answer to all questions. And in the middle of that chapter, the sages, Saunaka Rishi, requests Suta Goswami that instead of talking about the creation, can you please narrate about Vidura leaving the house and about the conversation between Vidura and Maitreya. And the reason he provided there was like the life is too short. So he was like, instead of listening to the creation, can we go to the glorification? Can we hear the glorification of the Mahabhagavatas? Right? And then Suta Goswami again quotes Parikshit Maharaj, who asked similar question to Sukadev Goswami in Canto 3, Chapter 1, where Parikshit Maharaj was asking where and when did the meeting happen between the Vidura, Saint Vidura and Maitreya Muni. Then our chapter started with the questions. Questions, yes, by Vidura to Uddhava. And then he starts asking about, because he was in the pilgrimage, right? And then he starts asking about all the, for a while it takes us back to Mahabharata, right? Talks about Vidura is asking what happened to this person, that person, all those things. And then it makes Uddhava very dearly miss Lord Krishna, and then he starts remembering Lord Krishna, and then we heard about the Vrindavan pastimes, and then along with the destruction of the Yadu dynasty, right? And then while for Vidura, Uddhava suggests that instead of listening from me, why don't you go to Maitreya Muni, who is close by, right? And there we heard about the etiquette, Vaishnava etiquette, like how we should respect our senior. And then in chapter 5 of this canto, Vidura meets Maitreya Muni. And then at first he asks about, can you speak on the transcendental devotional service of the Lord? And then Vidura only is speaking to Maitreya Muni. And then after a few verses, he says, kindly chant all the superhuman transcendental activities of the Supreme Controller, right? With all potency of the full manifestation and maintenance of the cosmic creation. Vidura says that to Maitreya. Why is he saying that? First he said, can you speak on the transcendental loving service, devotional service? And after a while he says, not first, but he says can you talk about the superhuman activity, transcendental activities, and about the creation? And for the reason he gives in around verse 15, 16, that he says it was out of compassion for those who, because of their sinful activities, are averse to the topics of transcendence, and those who are distressed because they would not be able to understand the transcendental devotional service. So having that compassion for those people, or say like us, so he requests for the cosmic creation, the topic of cosmic creation. And from there onwards, the topic of creation again starts. And in Canto 2, there were like chapter 5, 6, and 10. 10 was the chapter where Sound of Rishi stops Sutta Goswami, right? So we talked about that. And if you remember on Thursday, Mother Archana Bhakti explained very nicely about the creation. Like when I first saw the verse, I was like, I don't know where to start. I was very, very like, I couldn't understand anything. And I had like, and I remember Mother Archana Bhakti's class, and I watched it like pausing and playing back, pausing and playing back. I couldn't understand. So there she explained very nicely about this creation. And she said there are two parts of creation, but we are still on the first part, Sarga, a creation by Karandaksai Vishnu. One second, I think I have a slide, Karandaksai Vishnu. Here. Okay. If you remember, it's from Chatusloki Bhagavatam where Lord is talking to Brahma. And he's saying like, it is Brahma, the word, I think I missed the word Brahma. He says, Brahma, it is I, the personality of Godhead, who was existing before the creation when there was nothing but myself. Nor was there the material nature, the cause of this creation. That which you see now is also I, the personality of Godhead. And after annihilation, what remains will also be I, the personality of Godhead. And so then Mother Archana explained very nicely like how Karandaksai Vishnu, we can see Karandaksai Vishnu line nicely there. Karandaksai Vishnu first glances or impregnates the material nature of three moods, and thus by the influence of eternal time, the living entities appear, right? And then we heard about the gradually how the Mahatattva and all those 23, if we include the intelligence, it is 24, right? Elements are created, and which is known as Maha, what is the word? Mahasamisti Srishti, something like that. And then by the end of chapter 5, we read the creation process is now suspended. Right? The Mahatattva and all the 23 elements were created, but they are in suspension. And then we read in chapter 5 that all the presiding deities of all those elements were offering prayers to the Supreme Lord to kindly provide or direction on how they shall act to serve the Lord, right? And I remember the example that she gave about that, how the blocks, the kids play with the blocks, they make buildings or whatever. The blocks are there just laying on the floor. It won't just like become a form until the kids touch they play with them and make stack them together and bring into a form. So similarly, the 23 elements, the 24 elements are laying there, nothing. So, and now in this chapter, our chapter 6, we start with in this verse second itself, it says like the Lord then entered into all the 23 elements for the fourth verse. And then the living entities were enlivened into different activities. And the analogy was given just as one starts engaging in the work after awakening, right? And this is the verse 4, yesterday's verse, which Madhavi Gaurani gave the class. And today's verse, we are in the Samisti Srishti, the second phase, if I'm not wrong, but I'll wait for Mother Archana Bhakti to confirm. She said she'll take over from there. Okay. And then I cannot explain more on this topic because it's very, very technical for me. And I was trying to understand Madhavi Gaurangi's class yesterday too, but very technical. And I was like, oh my God, I get lost in this. But Prabhupada made it very easy. In the purport, he gives a very important point for us to meditate. And go back to the purport. Let's read purport. It's not long. I'll let Mother Vrindavan read the purport once again. Here, Mother Vrindavan. You're muted. You're muted. All right.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, purport by Srila Prabhupada. The elements of cosmic creation are all matter and have no potency to increase in volume unless entered into by the Lord in his plenary portion. This means that matter does not increase or decrease unless it is spiritually touched. Matter is a product of spirit and increases only by the touch of spirit. The entire cosmic manifestation has not assumed its gigantic form by itself, as wrongly calculated by less intelligent persons. As long as spirit is within matter, matter can increase as needed, but without the spirit, matter stops increasing. For example, as long as there is spiritual consciousness within the material body of a living entity, the body increases in the required size. But a dead material body, which has no spiritual consciousness, stops increasing. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, importance is given to the spiritual consciousness, not the body. The entire cosmic body increased by the same process that we experience in our small bodies. One should not, however, foolishly think that the individual infinitesimal soul is the cause of the gigantic manifestation of the universal form. The universal form is called the Virat Rupa because the Supreme Lord is within it in his plenary portion. Hare Krishna.
Evil. So, verse 4 and verse 5, I mean, similar theme, we see that unless there is the spiritual touch, the touch of spirit, nothing is going to increase or decrease. It's a dead matter. Right? And then continuing from same thing, I just put the important words in here, lines from the purport. There is like, for example, as long as there is spiritual consciousness within the material body of a living entity, the body increases to the required size, but the dead material body, which is no spiritual consciousness, it stops increasing. It's in chapter 2. Which verse? Quiz. Which verse is it? Chapter 2, which verse? The famous one, very famous verse.
Thank you. Yes,
Prabhu.
Is that the one you're looking for?
Yes.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
And then Srila Prabhupada actually didn't give class on in this chapter or in these verses, and not only this, like even the universal form is discussed, like whole chapter Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, the universal form, right? So there is no classes by Srila Prabhupada on that. Like it was kind of little frustrating not to find these classes, but he spoke about universal form in other different verses, and in the morning walks, in room conversations also, where he repeatedly says that devotees don't need to see or don't need to. I mean, they don't favor the universal form. Instead, they just are content with the devotional service. And the other thing Srila Prabhupada mentions also is universal form is the answer actually for the materialist, or materialist. No, because the universal form shows how all the material stuff, it's everything material, uh, mm, starting from the atom to the topmost jiva, like Brahma, everything is within him. And if we read the purports from the verses from chapter 11, almost all the purport at the end, Prabhupada also stresses that no one can see the universal form or unless there is the mercy of the Lord. And then if we remember that Arjuna was wishing to see the universal form, in that time, Lord Krishna himself says that you don't have that vision. You cannot just see like that. And then Lord Krishna provides, he bestows him that vision and then he can see the universal form. But what happens again then, after seeing the universal form? Instead of getting happy, delighted, Arjuna was like, he gets scared, right? And he was like, it's very fearful. Please go back to your four-handed form and then go back to your original two-handed form, Samsundara form. Like that. But as a practicing devotee, we should be knowing all this technicality also, so that we get empowered to understand and make others understand too. Another thing, and then okay, no, not another thing. Srila Prabhupada actually, he while giving class on the 7th canto in Mayapur, he spoke about this universal, about this Virat Rup, and let's hear from him instead of me just paraphrasing him. It's around 4 to 5 minutes class. But I have to share the sound. I don't think that. Then we'll hear from Sri Prabhupada. And that is the gist of actually today's class. Okay. Let's see from Sri Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. I'll just play and pause. Tell me if you can hear or not. Is it coming, the sound?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is Krishna. Krishna is always Jasodanandana. He is always ready to be chastised by Mother Jasoda, by the gopis, and sometimes by his friends. That is Vrindavan Krishna. That is real Krishna. That is real God. And this form of God, as Brahma saw, Virata Rupa, that is Mayamayam. Because Brahma, such an exalted person, he was meant for creating this universe. He becomes bewildered seeing Krishna as a cowherd boy. That was also exhibited. When Brahma understood that a cowherd boy in Vrindavan is said to be the Supreme Lord, Krishna, my master, so he also examined whether Krishna, that boy, was his master. He took away his cups and cowherd boy for a second, and he saw that Krishna has expanded himself to so many cows and calves and cowherd boys. Then he submitted. Similarly, Indra also wanted to examine him. So everyone, Sivabanin Chinutam, Jatra Muhyanti Suraya. So even Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, and others, big demigods, they become bewildered to understand Krishna. So Brahma saw the Virat Rupa, Maya Mayang Sadupalakshita Sannivisam Drishtya Mahapurusam Apapam Mudang Vedincha. But when he saw the Lord, he was very happy. So our pure Vaishnava, they do not want to see even Krishna. They are satisfied with the service of Krishna. That is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy. Aslishtava padaratang pinastumam marmahatang karotuva. Marmahatang karotuva. The pure Vaishnava, he simply always expects when that time will come, Krishna will be pleased to accept me. Otherwise he is not very hasty. But he is interested with the service. That is pure. His pure Vaishnava can go to the hell for serving Krishna, but he is not aspirant for his personal comfort. Any condition. Amo janmani janmani ishare. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching. Janmani janmani ishare bhavatad bhakti rahituki. Na dhanang na janang na sandani kavitang vajagati jaka. Asishya vapadarasang pinastuma maramahatang karotuva. So, this Krishna consciousness movement is very great movement, more valuable than the conception of Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma, because it is given by Krishna personally, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, do not try to see Krishna in his Virat form. Simply try to serve him in humble position, then your life will be successful. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. I think that is the summary of our class today, our verses. I know there are more things that we can talk about on this topic today, but we have so many Zati devotees here in this Zoom land. I see Kavile Prabhu, Acharya Prabhu, so many. So I would like to hear Parikshit Prabhu. I'd like to hear from you all the more additional points or realization or correction, anything. Thank you so much, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna.
It's quite.
It's very tough, like you were saying. Creation has been tough for me also. And like you were saying in the beginning, even I was like, this is very difficult. I will obviously read through it because that is the instruction given that we should not skip and we should read. But, waiting to get to the other parts that I can understand better. But then during these classes, we also heard why it is important to try to understand. So I'm working really hard to try and grasp. But then, like you said, this verse is the gist of it all. We have to understand creation so we understand his greatness, and we understand. So I know he's the absolute truth. He's the supreme. He's the only thing we have. He's the only one who is supreme. But we have to understand why he's the supreme, so that we are, one of the things we are trying to build is faith. And for the faith to be strong and to not be shaken, we have to understand. Otherwise, if we don't understand why he is supreme and how he is supreme, our faith may be shaky. At times of difficulty, we may try to rely on something else and not on the supreme. But that last line that Prabhupada said, that's its service. Serving Krishna should be our goal, and to make us understand that also we need to understand this creation and understand why we have to serve him and not serve anything else that is less than supreme. My small realization today.
It's very profound. Thank you. Very nicely put together. Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, talking about the service also, like with the Virat Rupa, there's nothing much we can do. Right? And then we just saw the picture that Karnadak Sai Vishnu, even God with the Sai Vishnu, they will be laying with their eyes closed. So,
Yeah. Peacefully easily.
yeah. So, yeah, that's why the devotees don't go after the
I think
universal.
Parikshit Prabhu is ready to say something.
I saw that. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for a very nice lecture. And again, begging permission from those senior to me that's on here, I'd like to maybe just contribute something. As Mother Subhanadi was talking about, and you yourself, Shyamagori Mataji, talking about how difficult these parts of it, the explanation about the creation is. Yeah, we would like to understand, but sometimes some things we're not able to understand. But just not being able to understand should also make us appreciate the greatness of the Lord and make us understand that our brains go but so far. We really don't know much. It will also help in our humility. If everything was understood by us, it would be very nice. But some things, if we're not able to understand, that just shows that the Lord is so many levels above us in his ability. That's why some things we're not going to get, and we have to just accept that we're not going to get it.
Yeah.
And we're sitting as tiny parts and parcels of the Lord in one tiny universe on one tiny planet with a tiny brain with a lifetime that doesn't even go past 100 years. So who are we to try to understand everything? That's the point I was just thinking came to my mind. So for me, Srila Prabhupada's mercy, he explained the purpose of so many things so we can understand. But some things are going to go over our heads, and that's all right. We're not at the level of God. So some things we're just not going to get. And we have to accept it like that. That's the only thing I wanted to add to it. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Even Brahma and then Varun, they couldn't even understand what he. So we are so tiny people here.
Yeah, and they have way higher IQs than we.
Yeah. Brahma is second creator. He couldn't understand what I said. It's really something.
So thank you, Mataji, for bringing the last lecture by Srila Prabhupada. He ended it, serve the Lord sincerely with your heart, and your life will be successful, even if you don't understand the intricacies of the material creation. That's all. I don't worry my mind too much. Some things I'm just not gonna get. And then, or even if it's described, electricity came from the fingernails of the Lord. How can you imagine that? So I know electricity from science, but the way they talk about it, but Shastra tells you where it came from. The scientists did not create electricity, they just use it. But the source is being described here in the Shastra, how it came. So we just have to accept. See, Prabhupada says, you don't understand, then you accept the authoritative statement. One example he gave, when a mother gives birth to a child, and he tells the child, my dear child, he is your father. The child doesn't say, well, what do you mean he is my father? What's the proof that he's my father? You don't ask that kind of question. Mother's authority. Mother says, here's your father, you accept that. That's it. So yeah, if you can't explain, then Shabda Praman. Take it like it is. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Madhusuman.
I also got confused today. We have to. I think after many lectures, we will be able to understand something. Over and over, we are going to repeat it. And this question, thank you for asking the question about the shloka. What was that shloka and what is the meaning? Prakshit Prabhuji also mentioned that. Dehas means something that kind of.
Dehinosmin yadha dehe kaumaram yavanam jara tada dehantar praptir dhirastat namuhyate. So he tells Arjuna that. Is that right, Prabhu?
Yeah, the soul, the embodied soul passes through what I call small, medium, large, baby, then teenage, and then like that in size.
When he says he won't fight, then he says that.
So
yeah,
what is connection?
The connection was like as the living entity or the human being, we change our body from boyhood to youth and old age like that. Similarly, this whole cosmic manifestation, all these the 23 elements are like they were in the what is that called? For the 1,000 years, they were lying with Garuda Sai Vishnu, or they will lie with Garuda Sai Vishnu doing nothing because there is no spiritual dust. So once Garuda Sai Vishnu wakes or opens his eyes, and then everything starts. Now another creation process starts. So they will be just laying there, no growth, no increase, no decrease, nothing like that. That is the connection.
And when he says he won't kill his grandparents, grandfathers like that, then Krishna says that thing. Is that right, Prabhu?
Well, he says that, this whole transmigration of a soul and then the growth in one particular body, that all takes place. It's all based on the spirit soul, being in the body, and the spirit soul never dies, which is what he talked about later on in the same chapter, chapter 2, text 23, 24, 25. He begins to describe the nature of the soul, how it cannot be destroyed in any way, to tell Arjuna that, these material bodies you don't have to worry about, but the souls are not going anywhere. They're not going to die.
Yeah.
That's the whole point he was making. Hare Krishna.
That answer you, Madhusama?
Yeah, what I'm understanding is that when the glances the material nature or Karanadaksai Vishnu?
Karanadaksai Vishnu is the first one is Karanadaksai Vishnu, who glances the material nature with, we remember Mother Archana Bhakti's class, the time, the mode of material nature, and there's the more time, and then the living entity come into being after he glances over the material nature. And then it suspends after creating all those 23 things. That is going to be the second phase of the creation.
His glance energizes everything. He's not
Yeah.
just looking only. But this is one of his energies, then everything becomes active then at that time.
So this is the connection with that shloka.
Yes.
It becomes active.
Yes. It started
Which
from
sloka?
yesterday's verse, but today's verse is like just more explanation on that. And then we'll see tomorrow. I think we'll talk about Garbhadaksai Vishnu in tomorrow's verse, and it will be more clear there. I think it is called Hiranya Garbha, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. So tomorrow we'll hear more and more.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Second chapter is very much, he tells all these nice slokas are all there.
Bhagavad Gita?
Bhagavad Gita, second chapter, yeah.
That's the contents of the Gita summarized. So much is there. That's the title of chapter 2.
Yeah.
So much is there. As so much is there in Canto 2 also. Srimad Bhagavatam.
Ah, yeah. Canto 2 also.
Also loaded.
Yeah, if we read second chapter in Bhagavad Gita, we can understand the sloka, the one Suman was asking. Suman Mataji was asking.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Shyamagori. Nice class.
Thank you.
And especially like Prabhu says in Prabhupada's that class, that lecture was very, very good.
Yeah.
Nice here.
Yeah, that's good. And Parikshit Prabhu's explanation also. Yeah,
by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga.
Yeah, that's true, Prabhu. You have good mercy.
No, Gauranga Mahaprabhu is merciful. I don't have anything.
And like me, I have mercy to associate with devotees in Zoom class and then listen to all the classes every day.
Absolutely.
That is mercy I have.
Yeah.
That's for everybody. Yeah.
Other Vindhyavali just reminded me of the point that Archana Bhakti Mataji was saying the same thing. Like, when we just don't come to the devotional, the Krishna consciousness like that. Some devotee will have to give us mercy.
That's true.
That's a spiritual touch there.
Then
only we come to know about Krishna and all this stuff. Right? So
yeah,
that's the spiritual touch there.
That's always by the mercy of another devotee. Always.
Like the senior Prabhus, like Kaivalya Prabhu and then Acharya Prabhu and then Parikshit Prabhu, they're all mercy that we are in this class and listening to. That's really, I always feel every day.
It will be nice to hear from Acharya Prabhu and Kaivalya Prabhu. I'm not pushing, but it would be nice to hear from you also. It's up to you if you want to leave.
Sorry, I have
You all are very good class, Prabhu. Very nice.
Acharya Prabhu speaking, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Oh, he muted again. I think he was saying that, I don't know. I heard something to the effect.
Yeah, I'm sorry. A nice class, but I have nothing to add at this time. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Thanks for asking, though.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Kaivalya Prabhu is also there. Yeah. We're all a little bit, we have, what do you call, mercy from everybody so that we are in this class, Prabhu. And how much, like Suman Mataji said, how much it is going to our head, I don't know, for my head, myself. But, I just want to sit here in this class every day, want to listen to. So at least, like mustard seed, that much, it goes into my mind.
Yeah, that's what we're all supposed to do.
Yes. That is Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya.
Yes.
Sorry,
No, I'm saying that we need mercy every day, otherwise we get...
That's why we're sitting in this class, and that mercy is there. And through senior devotees, senior Prabhus, everybody.
The overall mercy is the mercy from Srila Prabhupada himself. Otherwise, we wouldn't be reading this.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Translation once
Okay.
again, and we'll just pause for today. As the Lord in his plenary person, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu plenary person, entered into the elements of the universal creation, they transformed into the gigantic form, that is, the gigantic form of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, in which all the planetary systems and all movable and immovable creations rest. And I think the upcoming verse, it will say like, once those elements come to his body, it will stay there for 1,000 celestial years. Just there. That's why Srila Prabhupada is like, why do you want to waste? If you don't go back to Godhead this very lifetime, you'll have to lie there for 1,000 celestial years and you get another chance, and we don't know what we get, the body, which body we get. If we remember Krishna, or if we remember something related to Krishna, we might get a chance. But if not, then who knows what body we'll get. And then again, 84 million.
That's true.
Like,
Thank you very much, Shyamagori. Nice class. Yeah, everybody had a very nice comment. And like Srila Prabhupada said, we should just simply hear when we don't understand. That Prabhupada just hear Bhagavatam. He says some people don't understand English even. They just hear the sound vibration.
Yeah.
Bhagavatam. They get purified. So that's what we have to just follow Prabhupada footstep and the Acharya say, just hear Bhagavatam. Thank you very much. Nice class from Srila Prabhupada.
We have to thank Srila Prabhupada every day.
Yes. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. I guess that's any more comments? I don't know if they are. So I'm going, Mataji, you can wrap it up now.
Yeah, I think that's it. I just remember one more point. I just
okay.
talking about the like how I think it was Amarendra Prabhu, one of his class, he said like the example was given like how the pilots they get the training to fly a jet or something, and then but one of the pilots says like he just runs around, like they have to do the runway before you fly over the sky. Just wants to run like drive around the runway only, and he doesn't fly. And the control room is saying like, why don't you fly? You need to fly now. It's been like hours you have been just running away in the runway. And then the pilot says like, no, I don't want to fly yet. I'm scared. I just want to, like, and then what the control room will say, then give us your license back. You can go drive a car and you can run anywhere in the street. Like you don't need the runway to fly the plane in the runway. You can drive interested or anywhere. And then the example was like just a human life. Get the human life, and you're not trying to understand the higher philosophy. You're not trying to trying to like eating, sleeping, mating, defending is like the runway. Every living entities, all the living, and even animals, birds, beasts, anyone can do these 4 things. If we, being the human, are running in the runway like eating, mating, sleeping, defending, then we don't need this human life. So next time the control room, the Lord takes our license away that you don't need to human. Go to any animal life. So he sees our license. But if we try to fly, he sees our intention, our attitude. So this person helps. So we still need to give some chance. So if we don't even finish everything in this life, don't go back to Godhead, we might get a human form of life and get that opportunity to meet with the devotee and get that opportunity. And it's again up to us that in the independence, that minor independence, where shall we go, this way or that way, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah, thanks for the analogy. Very nice.
We have to try to fly.
Yes. But always keep saying like, go back to Godhead in this very lifetime.
That's true.
Yes, the Papa said, try to finish your business here.
Yeah.
Interesting. If we don't go this lifetime, then we have to work like 1,000 celestial.
Sleep with
yeah, then we don't know what kind of body. That's a nice point you made. Yeah.
That's a very good one.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mother Saraswati. Is there any announcement or anything? Mother Sita.
Hare Krishna. Nothing really. Just a beautiful class. Thank you so much. It's always so. I'm so happy to see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kalpyasya kripa
Pavanebhyo
pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna.
Prabhupada ki
Srila
jai.
Prabhupada ki jai.